Hello people, what is going on? Mr. Challenge guys coming at you here with a quick news update video, guys. I am taking a little bit of hiatus, aka a little bit of a break from Dofus Touch and doing content. Just taking a break. So that way when I come back, things feel a little bit fresh. And I was just browsing the Dofus Touch forums, just to keep tabs on what's going on, which I haven't really been up to date with a lot of things, and I saw this devlog update or news update about a hero system coming to Dofus Touch. I don't know about you guys, but this sounds like a pretty big deal, and I didn't see too much commotion about it. And there's a few comments, and that's about it. But let's dive right in, folks. Highly requested and for so long by some of you. Today we'd like to offer you a survey about the hero system, which you may already be familiar with from our friends over at Wakfu. Let us tell you more. What is the hero system? In Wakfu, this feature means players can play up to 3 characters on one single account. As fully fledged single player characters, heroes retain their storage inventory, quests, achievement, characteristics. They are managed in exactly the same way as your main character. They gain the same experience but also have their own loot and dungeon tokens, etc. Heroes can be any character in the account. Character A can be a hero of character B or vice versa. So in a nutshell, guys, the hero system, we went through it here, but if you're not totally familiar with it, it does come from Wakfu. Wakfu has a system where its version of the bonus pack. It's called like a booster over there. And it allows you to It allows you to consolidate your characters onto one account. So on one hand, we have multi-accounting, right? People are running 4 accounts. Let's say 4 accounts, they're using 4 different devices, right? And let's just go that direction. What the hero system does is consolidate those accounts into one device. And which, for Dofus Touch, which is a mobile environment, it does lean more towards the single player experience. This sounds awesome. It sounds amazing. And if this system comes to Dofus Touch, it's going to help a lot of people. It's going to streamline a lot of things. I don't see anything but positive with this. In fact, this feels like such common sense. I don't know what are not doing this when it comes to Dofus in Unity, right? From my knowledge, I think they're still keeping the whole, if you want a multi-account, you just got to run another instance of the client, right? So on PC, obviously, people could run their full-fledged teams of 8. So if you want to run a team of 8, you're going to have 8 windows open, right? Which is dumb. Where it's why not have one window and then just have all your characters in there and then just run one window? It's not as taxing on your system. But I digress. But yeah, this would be amazing on Dofus Touch because, whether you love it or hate it, the social aspect of the game is very important. It is by design. This is an MMO, which I think a lot of people tend to forget. But what sucks is a lot of times it is hard to kind of dive into the social aspects of the game because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Everybody's on a different spot in their journey, and it's say for example, you're playing the game, you're somewhat familiar with it, but you're kind of in the middle. You need help with the tree dungeon, right? And because of the nature of the English community, it's just not as populated when it comes to the servers and participation of people within the game. You might have a hard time finding a group for just a tree dungeon. It might sound simple for people who are past that, and take it for granted, right? But somebody who's up and coming in their journey, this is going to be so much help for them. So let's keep going now. Our Dofus Chess dilemma. While this system is certainly very appealing, and all the more so on the mobile format, We're left perplexed by it in the context of dofus touch for a number of reasons that we'd like to expand on here. At the end of this article, you'll be invited to take part of a survey with a reward at the end. Sweet. What appeals to us? It's a huge convenience when it comes to replacing multi-accounting without having to bend the rules. Yeah, so that would kind of sway. And again, this is kind of like, just make it easier, right? Make it easier, make it accessible, make it an option, right? Let's see. Let's think of an example, right? You guys remember pirating movies back in the day? You know, you had, pirating movies, pirating games. That was a big thing, like back in like early 2000s. And then Netflix came along, and like, let's go with music, right? People pirating music. They just download the album off of the web, and they don't have to buy it. But then what was it? Napster came along, and then eventually Spotify, right? It became easier to consume music that way because it was easier than going to a shady website and kind of risking, getting a virus on your computer, putting your security at risk, right? It was easier just to pay $5 to, let's say, Spotify and have access to all the music you want just for $5, right? So I think this is kind of like in that kind of vein where like you have a legal way to multi-account, right? So you don't have to go out to like third-party shady programs and put your information in there. No, so I think yes, it was very appealing for them. I think this is appealing for everybody. It improves autonomy for players. I agree, especially like I mentioned, dofus touch is more for like, you got one device, one phone, right? You're playing by yourself. For the most part, yes, there is a social aspect for it, but it is more for like, it does lean because of the nature of, you only have one phone, and like, it is a mobile game. You are in a mobile environment, shorter quote unquote play sessions, right? It is harder to kind of get the ball rolling with the social aspects of stuff. On average, PVN combs are currently made up of 1.36 players. I don't know what they mean here. Despite guilds, alliances for the social aspect, or even group search, the vast majority of players still want to. Can't play in groups. Perhaps it's time we thought about how to make it easier for these players to improve their gaming experience. And like I said, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, MMO, a big part of it is the social aspect of it. But we are dealing with a different environment, which is the mobile environment, right? Which everything's supposed to be streamlined, supposed to be easy, bada bing, bada boom, get in, get out, right? So I do give them props that they do recognize this, where like people just want to do their own thing, and maybe dabble, right? And occasionally, find a group, go hang out with people. But for the most part, 80% you're doing your own thing, you're questing around, you're grinding, you're doing professions, and maybe 20% is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with these people, right? Oh, I see someone in the chat needs help. All right, let's go help them out. But yeah, for the most part, people are multi-accounting. Shocker, right? And just playing by themselves, and maybe just chatting with other people here and there. So, what we don't like. That said, it shouldn't come at the expense of other aspects of the game. Here are some of the issues we are concerned about dofus touch should such a system ever see light of day. Gameplay simplification. A criticism regularly leveled at us by a number of players in recent months. Who's saying this? Who are these players? Significant impact on the economy, which we all know it's already a thorny issue. Okay, so let's talk about gameplay simplification. I don't think simplification is the right word, and these criticism, like, I don't care what the criticism is coming from. If anything, you want to streamline things, make it more accessible, right? I don't know. Significant impact on the economy. Yeah, I can see this happening. Um, Obviously, if people are given an option to run 3 characters in their account, they're going to do it, right? I think, let's keep going before I comment on this. And what about your argument that it's an MMO and people need to play? Yeah, see, I keep talking about this. It's an MMO, right? Go make friends, people. We're still committed to the idea. It's plain to see that gamers' habits have changed over the years. And it's Challenger. Man, Challenger needs to get hired. I've been talking about this for ages. Habits have changed over the years, right? If you listen to my podcast, I talk about how a lot of aspects of dofus are archaic by today's standards, right? These players want to spend time in the world that's enduring and meet other people on a regular basis, but they might not want to feel obliged to play with them in order to evolve. It can take time, and it can sometimes go poorly. Yeah, I think Waven does this well, where like it's a single player game with multiplayer, right? You could run around by yourself, you could do things by yourself 90% of the time, right? And if you want, you can hang out with other people. It's not a requirement. And I do like the aspect of Waven, which, it is one of the games I've been playing here off screen. But yes, I do get it. It's an MMO. It's a classic style MMO, right? It does have roots back in that same era where it's like WoW, right? Where it's just, you at night, you get off of work, you go raid with your friends, right? But I think times have definitely changed, and people just want to, especially on the phone, right? On the phone, you just want to mind your own business, and the social aspect shouldn't be a requirement, but it should be complementary, right? It should enhance your experience in some way, but it shouldn't be obligatory that you need to interact with other people. Yes, it's an MMO, but I think the overall direction, and I think they see this too, is that people, again, they just want to do their own thing and occasionally dab with the social aspect of stuff. In any case, it's a perspective we don't want to ignore, which is why we've created this article and this survey. And a quick note too, going back to my time on Epsilon, which, I'm sad to see when I popped back in there, it was very, very quiet, and my friend list was non-existent. Like nobody was logged on anymore. And one of my biggest criticisms of, kind of experiencing the game as a new player, as a newcomer, starting from zero, was like you do eventually hit a wall where you need to become reliant on other people. And I definitely felt that way. And I think I expressed it in one of my streams where like I tried very hard because I have 2 iPads and 2 iPhones, right, that still run the game. So I do have access to multi-accounting, and I know it's a big privilege, but I did fight so hard not to multi-account because I was hitting these walls where like my progression was just so slow just by myself. And I was like, man, like I could be done if I could just run my 3 other accounts, like I could be done with this and I could be moving on to the next thing, right? So I personally did feel that where like the beginning is cool, it eases the player in, it kind of holds your hand, it shows you the game, it shows you the mechanics, it shows you the world and stuff like that. But I think that wall is like right around level 100 where you need to upgrade your gear and you start to need copious amount of resources where like by yourself it's just gonna take you forever, right? And then you try to ask for help on a chat. Hey, anybody want to come farm trees, for example? And then everybody's kind of like doing their own thing, and you're just sitting there. And I get it. I think, I don't think the system would work. They do have. What do they have on PC? Not heroes. They have like a little helper people, but even on PC they have that. And it's just like another summit. What are they called? because I know they give you like the Asher of Night. If you do like the beginning Incarnum quest line, they give you like an Asher of Night to help you out. So I don't see why they are hesitant with this. I think it's an awesome idea. PC has this feature. It didn't hurt it. I think it helped it with people, especially over there since they have a mod account server and stuff like that. I think it's an excellent idea. It should definitely be explored. And then Wakfu, I think, I keep saying I think, but Dofus Touch, if you look at it, the way they kind of handle it and the way they kind of approach it, it is more similar to how Wakfu does things than PC Dofus, which is kind of like this free-to-play MMO. And if it works for Wakfu, just implement it here, right? Just try it out, right? The alternatives. We believe compromises are possible. Heroes cannot be allowed to collect loot and resources or experience. Yeah, if they don't want heroes, they could do the help. I know somebody's gonna put in the comments or remind me, what is those guys called? They're not called heroes. On PC Dofus, they could not allow the main character to validate dungeon achievements like Duel. Okay, that makes sense. They cannot be allowed to validate their own quests and achievements. At this point, it's non-negotiable for technical reasons. Anyways, as it's far too tricky. Wakfu has this feature. I don't know why it's so tricky. Wakfu's had it since what's that devlog here? 2015. So Wakfu's had it for close to 10 years. So I don't know why you would call it tricky. They cannot be allowed to participate in PvP. Yeah, that makes sense. On such an island, yeah, that's competitive stuff. In practical terms, only the main character would evolve while the hero would be present, simply to allow the player to progress more easily through the game's PvM content, without calling on other players and without having a negative impact on the game's economy. Heroes would take place of a classic character in combat. And of course they have a survey guide, fill it out. It's pretty easy. I did it prior to this video to answer a few questions about your opinions on it, but definitely do the survey here. But yeah, on closing the final thoughts here, they should just look at Wakfu. Wakfu has this, PC Dofus has this. Look at what works over there. I think people looked at it pretty favorably. So I think it could be an awesome idea. I think definitely for Dofus Touch. It seems like it's obvious and common sense that it would have such a feature. I do get their concerns about the economy and stuff like that. But again, how does Wakfu make it work? Maybe it's a combination of maybe it's a hero, right? It's one of your characters, but it acts like the way it does on PC, where it's just like a little helper dude that you control. But yeah, I'm excited. I really hope they explore this. And yeah, I thought I would cover this. I thought I'll let you people know, and they posted about this. But yeah, on the comments below, let me know what you guys think. Love it, hate it, what are your opinions? Techno Marujo doesn't like this. Hyperborean Man, you should have asked after the server fusion. And this guy has an error. Dennis 403 error. But yeah, guys, just a quick little video update for you guys to know about. Until next time, this has been Challenger EX. Take care of yourself and peace.